I welcome you all to my channel. Glad to meet you all in this video. Before we go into the video, I request you all to subscribe to my channel Software Testing Hub. Well, today we are going to see one of the most important and interesting topic in software testing, which is none other than software testing lifecycle. Moreover, in the organization, they simply call it as STLC. Now let's quickly step into the video. What is software testing lifecycle? Software testing lifecycle is nothing but a series of activities carried out sequentially by adhering to the testing process and ensuring that application is working as expected, meeting the requirements stated by the client. So there are basically 6 major phases in every software testing lifecycle model. So let's see one by one. So now in this slide, I believe this flow diagram is indeed self-explanatory. Like it shows from right from requirement analysis through the test closure activity, it goes sequentially. Firstly, let's see this requirement analysis. This requirement phase is more of like analyzing the documents, which we receive from the business analyst. Predominantly, the testing team receives this business requirement document. In short, it is called a BRD, and functional specification document, it is called as FSD. So, testing team, what they will do, like they will go through these documents. So once while going through the documents would be like 40 to 50 pages for each release. So they'll be going through it, and as a team, they will first, will have a brainstorming session, and they will be sharing their understanding within their peers, and they need at least a week to come up with an clarity, and they will try to understand the document. If there are any queries, they will set up a working session with the BA, and they will try to understand the requirements. In some organizations, what they will do, like straightforwardly, BA will give a walkthrough, and the testing team will understand the requirements. So the testing team come up with the test scenarios, which will be in a very high level, and subsequently those test scenarios will be converted to the test cases. Moreover, the testing team will ensure that everyone are all in the same page with respect to the understanding of requirements. If anything needs to be get clarified, like they will touch base with their BA. Moving on to the next phase, test planning phase. So test planning is another efficient phase of software testing life cycle, where all the test plans are defined. The test lead, here plays a crucial role in calculating the estimated efforts and cost for the testing work. Like so what apart from this, like test lead prepares a test plan or a test strategy document, which is the roadmap for the entire testing. So in this plan document, what it will be, it clearly explains like what needs to be tested, when it has to be tested, and what are the risks and the assumptions in this project, roles and responsibilities, like who are going to take what testing, what types of testings are involved, what are the things are assumed in this project, and who are going to do which task, and the schedule of the testing, when it is going to start, when it is going to end, is there any buffer time, like entry and exit criteria. All these activities are planned during the test planning phase. So once the test plan document is ready, test lead will set up a call with our business stakeholders, and they explain the test plan document, or they will walk through the document in the call by sharing the screen. So once they receive the sign off in the email, this test plan document would get freezed. Moving on to the next phase, test case development. So test case development, like test team would have already prepared the test scenario document in a spreadsheet during the requirement analysis phase itself. Like all they need to do is like they need to further drill down into the test cases in different permutations and combinations. For example, if you know if we take Amazon as an example, like we have different countries using Amazons and different products are there. So we can keep these countries as a dynamic variable. Something we can have it as a static condition, and we can products we can have it as a static conditions, and we can create the scenarios of and that also we need to cover boundary values, like whether we are testing the within the range of the data inputs. Like test data also it plays a mandatory role in the test case development phase. So in many organizations, if you see, they use the test management tools like HPALM or Zira for tracking the testing activities. Some organizations write test cases in spreadsheet, which is in ALM uploadable format. The template which they follow should be in the ALM uploadable format, and upload those test cases in the ALM. Furthermore, like stakeholders would ask to walk through the test cases to ensure whether testing team has covered 100% coverage. Some, would prefer to update the requirement ID to the test case. In the left side, they used to create a column and add the requirement ID there in order to do the requirement traceability matrix. This requirement traceability matrix is nothing but mapping the requirements to the test case. So once we receive the sign off from the BA, we will freeze the test cases, and meaning no further edits. Moving on to the test environment setup. The test environment setup is a vital part of the STLC. Basically, there are different test environments, like system testing environment, end user environment, UAT environment, performance testing environment. So everywhere there is a dedicated environment. So we need to ask like which environment is for the testing team. So in this process, testing team is not much involved. Mostly developer creates a test environment and share the testing URL to the testing team via email with the information stating that code has been dropped. You can start the testing. So what testing team will do? The testing team will immediately start the sanity or smoke testing to ensure the major functionalities are working as expected, or whether the application is stable, or is there any showstoppers. So if there are any showstopper bug, what they will do, like they will mention clearly in the defect, like this is stopping to proceed with the testing. The testing can be resumed only when the bug has been fixed. So they will raise a critical defect, and they will create a smoke testing cycle in ALM, and they will track the defect. And next phase is like test execution phase. Test execution is one of the most crucial phase. In this phase, the testing team start executing the test cases which they have written. In the test plan, they would have clearly called out, like per day, per resource, how many test cases are planned to be executed based on the test case complexity. On the daily basis, testing team would be sending a daily status report, which is called as a DSR in short, with how many test cases passed and how many test cases failed, how many blocked due to showstopper issues, and how many defects are raised. Or we can also take the count from the ALM with a graph and project it to the client in a legible way. And as a tester, like he has to document for the test cases, like he had to create the folder for the evidences, and if it is ALM, they are going to attach the evidence for each test case which they have executed, and they have to log the defects for the failed test cases. So mapping the defects to the failed test cases, retest the defect fixes. They have to track the defects till the closure activity. Test cases, attached with snapshot in ALM have to be done mandatorily for future references. Why? Because today the application would have worked, and tomorrow it may fail for any reason. So having this test evidences as handy is always a best practice for the testing team. uh, so defect reports also has to be sent on daily basis, like how many defects are open or deferred or in QA or triage ready, and so on. Moving on to the next phase, the test closure phase. This phase is like almost the end of the testing activity, like completion of test execution, which involves several activities like test completion reporting and testing metrics, shared testing team members meet and they share, discuss, and the testing active artifacts to identify the test strategy that have to be implemented in future. The taking the lessons learned from the current test cycle, like what has to be improved and what has to be addressed. And it's like kind of a brainstorming session to understand what can be done better in next release. So as part of deliverable, a test completion report will be shared by the test lead with the stakeholders, and the test summary report have to be signed off. Uh, we have almost come to an end of the session. Moving on to the next slide. I hope you all understood the concepts of software testing life cycle. I really thank you all for watching my video. If you like my video, please requesting you to subscribe to my channel, Software Testing Hub. See you all in my next video. Bye bye.